Deep in the Alaska Range stands Peak 6000. The extreme conditions and vertical exposure on this granite wall would challenge any climbing team. But attempting the climb without the use of one's legs is a new level of commitment. Two brothers, one of them paralyzed from the waist down, are pushing adventure into unknown territory.
He is assuming the risk. Rock, Sean, rock! It's real up there.
The Ruth Gorge of Alaska is a fortress of rock embedded in ice. Surrounded by miles of glacier crevasses, these towering walls are climbed by the most highly skilled alpinists. But for someone paralyzed from the waist down, climbing a wall in the Ruth Gorge would seem an impossible goal. Two brothers, Timmy and Sean O'Neill, are determined to prove otherwise.
Going into a place like the Ruth Gorge, we're gonna be incredibly remote. Rescue is gonna be days away, possibly. This is as wild as it gets.
What goes through your head? I'm thinking, well, am I gonna be able to make it? Am I gonna be strong enough? Is there gonna be some bad weather? Is there gonna be a mishap? Am I gonna die?
To prepare for climbing in Alaska, the O'Neill brothers begin their journey in Yosemite National Park, where they will hone their skills on the world-famous El Capitan. For Sean O'Neill, getting to this point has been an uphill struggle. 18 years ago, he jumped 100 feet from a Memphis bridge into the Mississippi River, just for the thrill of it. He broke his back and lost the use of his legs.
When I was off Russia, I just paralyzed myself. I'm a cripple now. But I must make the most of it. I must carry on.
Sean would carry on, and then some, with a little help from his pro climber brother, Timmy.
After I got paralyzed, my brother Tim made me a ticket that I could redeem to climb El Cap.
I gave him this certificate, good for one ascent of El Capitan.
Timmy's given his brother, who he loves, a great gift, like this unique, precious thing to be on that rock. It's more than words.
Climbing with my brother is an exceptional thing because here's this guy that's paralyzed from the waist down, who a lot of people could just write off. A lot of people have this perception that life is over for that individual, that they don't count anymore, that they'll never be able to achieve these dreams that they've set for themselves. Well, that's ludicrous.
Defying expectations, Timmy and Sean have been conquering one cliff after another.
We've climbed Devil's Tower, we've climbed Castleton Tower.
We thought eventually we'll try El Cap.
But El Capitan, a 3,000-foot vertical wall, will take days to climb and require Sean to make over 3,000 pull-ups to reach the summit.
He's been training, doing rope ascension work, doing pull-ups. The guy's an animal.
The O'Neill climbing team will consist of Timmy and Sean, plus 2 other support climbers.
You were gonna plan on spending a lot of time up there, multiple nights, which means we need to have a lot of food, a lot of water, the rack of equipment, ropes, and all of our bivouac gear. In the magnitude of the difficulty and the challenge that we're accepting is much greater than a normal wall. Right?
Yep.
Are you ready?
Starting tomorrow morning.
We're going up on the big wall. We have to adapt. And now that adaptive process is what is so beautiful about climbing with him, because it teaches us that we need to constantly adapt in our life.
Their climbing system works as follows. The leader takes the rope up the climb, establishes an anchor, and fixes the rope so Sean can climb with his unique ascending system.
Anything I do, I'm doing with my hands, and from here down is just kind of being taken with me. And I got the pull-up bar that I lift myself up with.
What Sean does is he takes the bar and raises it and then pulls himself up to it. Raises it and then pulls himself up to it. Pull up after pull up. Use that as a metaphor for your life. But you finally get to the sledge. Thousands of feet of exposure. Insane. So you go, tequila. Gnarly. I love this. All right, Sean, you shot.
I'm next. As much as you want to call it fun, and it is really fun, and it is really beautiful, but it's also kind of high stress.
The beginning of our 5th day.
There's like the mind games of the height. Everybody gets like a bit tense.
Got a kind of a storm brewing in towards the west.
It looks pretty narrow, yeah. It's coming in.
It got cold last night. We experienced rain.
We could have been really badly off. But luckily, I mean, it touched us, but that's all it did.
We woke up and the sky was blue and the sun's out now, so I'm psyched. One of the reasons that I climb is to gain that perspective. It really teaches me some of the most beautiful wisdom in this life.
I do it because you got this beautiful rock that can make me calm. You get to see really great perspective. You're something very much bigger than me. Shrinks all my problems down. It provides me with this wonderful sense of scale.
I mean, that's what I get through climbing with Sean, is this exhilaration that comes from accomplishing the seemingly impossible. When Sean and I topped out,
Yeah, buddy.
I was so happy.
The last of the light. The last of the pull-up.
A sense of relief. Wow, we did it. Beautiful.
We did it, bro.
It's a big experience. It's overwhelming.
Another one, man.
Now I've got this next little feature in my resume, this next piece in my portfolio.
Too. Oh, look at that.
But the O'Neills are already scheming a more audacious climbing objective.
A wilder, more remote experience where there's nothing alive except for you and your climbing partner.
Something epic where people will be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that.
Before their next big adventure, Timmy and Sean return to Philadelphia, home of the always rowdy Clan O'Neill.
Mom! Hi, Mom. Good to see you.
I'm Carolyn O'Neill. I had 7 children.
My mom likes to say that we were raised free spirits.
Our friends' parents wouldn't let them come over our house because we were the nutty, crazy crew.
It's noise, chaos, a lot of people in a very small space. You didn't know who was coming in with a broken leg or what were they jumping off of.
Several of us have been hit by cars. I know I have.
Timmy was probably the worst one.
Timothy went up on the school to get a soccer ball.
And the downspout came away from the wall. Go get my mom! I think I'm hurt.
When I would go to the hospital, like, oh, hi, how you doing? Like as if I worked there.
Timmy and Sean are the only two that have ever actually left the state of Pennsylvania. They're free-spirited.
Sean and I grew up right on the cusp of West Philly. As far as the eye could see, it's houses. And our concept of open space is the Fernwood Cemetery. Sean and myself, we would climb the tombstones. When I left Philadelphia and started to travel out west and discovered rock climbing, I realized a huge reason that I climb is because just like my childhood, which was like free zone, you know, anything goes, climbing represented that to me more than anything else. There are no rules in climbing.
Boarded a plane for
Sorry about that. Looking for my dog, actually. When we were younger, maybe you're taking more risks or you're more unaware, and it sort of ended with Sean's breaking his back.
I remember getting the phone call when Sean first got paralyzed.
I wanted to jump off this bridge. I just kind of leapt out and wound up hitting the water wrong. Came up for air, and I start swimming, and my legs are all pins and needles.
My mom said there had been a problem with my brother Sean. Sean had lost the use of his legs, and he was paralyzed.
I knew how much he loved bicycling and loved moving.
He couldn't sit up or anything because he had 15-inch rods in his back.
The rehab was way long, and Sean was way depressed.
When he came home, he seemed to sleep late, go out late. I just remember him being angry sometimes, like being frustrated because he couldn't just get up out of bed.
The real danger part is if you wind up angry, then you're not going to take care of yourself. You know, you get sick and die.
But this dark hour would mark the beginning of a new kind of adventure for the O'Neill brothers.
Timmy made a deal with Sean that he was going to take him up El Cap. And I was like, okay, I want to do this. I have to get rid of all this other crap. And he started training.
To break my ass out of like drinking too much and feeling sorry for myself, that like turned into a lifestyle.
Sean's doing more awesome now, physically, mentally.
In the wheelchair, his life has been this incredible adventure.
There's great things all over the whole planet to explore.
Oh, knowing these guys, they're not going to stop here. They're going to take it one step further.
Sean and I have been talking about climbing in even a more audacious place.
It's kind of human nature to try and scale things up. Like you do one thing, then you try and do something even bigger.
Sean and I are going to head up to Alaska, and we're going to be in the Ruth Gorge for 2 weeks of total isolation, and we're going to be climbing a rock route in there.
This is like the most craziest thing I've ever tried.
Their objective in Alaska is Peak 6000, a towering granite wall 30 miles deep in the remote Ruth Gorge. And they've enlisted another climbing veteran to join their team.
I'm Greg Leneski. I'm from Vermont. I live in Yosemite, California.
Greg is big, which is great. He's a workhorse, and he's climbed all over the world.
I'm gonna climb some rock up on the glacier, have a blast up there.
The objective hazards of going into a place like the Ruth Gorge, it's much greater than, say, climbing in Yosemite. Being with my brother, it makes me more nervous. It definitely forces me to confront why are we doing this in the first place? But that's part of the game.
There is supposed to be tons and tons of danger. It's a really big undertaking, but I'm really looking forward to it.
In the chair, yeah, cool.
On the glacier.
Right.
Officially glaciated.
Getting ready to climb, which means preparing Sean for all of his adaptive equipment.
The thing is, like every damn thing I plan for, there's always something new. There's always another contingency.
How much weight's on your harness?
Not much at all.
Get the food together, the water together, all of the equipment.
We've got our route picked out. climbing right at the top of the Ruth Gorge.
The cool thing about climbing so far north at this latitude, close to the summer solstice, is 24-hour daylight.
You can literally wear sunglasses to bed to try to get some decent sleep.
You have to get from your camp to the base of the climb, and you have to cross through crevassed territory to do that. The crevassed bridges are made of snow and ice, and they're melting out throughout the course of the season, and in the day you want to be on them as early as possible.
We have to try and figure out which ones to cross, which ones to not try.
We're constantly aware of which direction we have to travel through and around all that stuff.
After a week on the glacier, the team has finally come face to face with their climbing objective. Peak 6000.
Yeah, we're gonna go down this couloir, across that snow to the base of our climb. Lowering Sean down the col is probably gonna be one of the sketchier parts. There's a lot of loose rock.
The reason that we come to these places is because it is so challenging. And it does pose unique problem-solving and adaptive scenarios. Rock, Sean, rock! Thank you! We'll go nice and easy. Patience. Just taking it piece by piece, step by step.
Quite a few big crevasses right below us. We're finally on rock. It's finally our familiar ground.
Sean's pull-ups begin, dude.
Is this fun?
What? Not in the everyday sense of the word, baby.
Yeah, nice and slow. No, keep going. Yeah, nice, Sean. You come to climb in a place like Alaska, it's wild. You don't know what the conditions are going to be in front of you. Which means totally soaking wet. Oh, look at it.
Climbs like this, you can tell that nobody's done very often.
Towards the last couple pitches, a storm was building. I mean, clouds were coming in, and it was getting a little more ominous. It looked bad. When the weather's coming in like that, it's like go time. You need to get moving. You need to get Sean up there. You need to get him disengaged from one system and engaged to the other system.
Everybody has a meltdown at some point. It just happens because it's like a stressful thing you're doing.
I lost my cool a little bit. You see how the rope's stuck, Sean? Yeah. No. If he does get hurt, I mean, a retreat is going to be so difficult.
You know, you just leave yourself in a precarious situation.
What do you want me to do?
Nice day of climbing quickly turned to a real adventure. We had to change our attitude a little bit.
You're exhausted, you're kind of frayed emotionally and mentally, and you just want to get to the summit.
I mean, Timmy, he's really good at playing the manager game. He has to be on top of it and not have a meltdown and make sure everybody else is emotionally and mentally and physically okay.
Just about at the ledge, Greg.
As you rise up, you see more of the majesty of the whole gorge. All the little details go away, and you're left more with the core of who you are. It helps me to be truer to myself. It's like it somehow speaks about what reality is, what this is that we are.
And it's a thing of beauty. I mean, it's why we come here. We just looked around and smiled at each other at how fortunate we are to be here and to be able to get to climb. We got to the top of the climb well after midnight. We made it to the top of Peak 6000, and now the clouds have come in big time. Ceiling is getting lower and lower. It's starting to rain, and we are gonna go down.
With the storm advancing quickly, the climbers find themselves running out of time to reach the shelter of camp.
The conditions were pretty gnarly. It's like a serious deal here in Alaska.
It's super stressful to get down.
We're good down, brother. These kind of treacherous slabs. Yep, just lean back. And we lowered Sean down this massive slope.
After an all-night journey back to camp, Team O'Neill celebrates their groundbreaking climb.
That was like the grandest, craziest thing I've ever done in my life. Man.
Once you've gone through that trial, you know, once you've been hardened by the fire, you're better for it.
Like, what's the fabric I'm made out of? What can this body do? How far can I go?
When you're sorry, it's so wise, and I worry, but I last.